lot, we're talking a lot about girls. And so it's really important for us to bring boys into this conversation because they are way too often left out of the conversation around sex trafficking, that's just our coffee pot brewing. That's a good thing for you guys, I'm sure. I'm sure no one wants to hear that stop. Around sexual abuse. And so it's really important for us in terms of this training piece to highlight that boys are sexually abused too. Boys are sex trafficked too, and they are just compounding societal factors that really stop us from identifying them altogether. Because if we're not looking or understanding that boys could be victims, we're not looking for boys to be victims. Instead, we're looking for them to be perpetrators. So if we're looking at them as perpetrators, then how are we ever seeing them when they're victims, which they usually are before they're perpetrators, by the way. So it's really important that we begin to make room for male victimization. When you're a child and you're at risk or you're being abused, it doesn't matter what your gender is. Your ability to protect yourself as a child is the same, right? So being a boy or a girl, that don't make you stronger or weaker. I know some of the guys here can think about when you were, a kid, probably a girl could beat you up during those times. You know what I mean? Because when we're kids, things are much more equal, especially at that time. A kid who don't know how to get resources, don't know how to get resources. They're not going to know how to get them better if they're male versus female. And if they're being abused, it's not going to be better for male versus female. It's all the same, but oftentimes when we talk about male abuse, there's so much shame that comes attached to that. Like men should have been strong enough never to be abused, even if it happened when they were 6 months old. That men have too much agency to ever have anything happen to them that they don't want to happen to them. Or maybe even that if it did happen to them, it's because they're actually homosexuals. And they wanted it, so they let it happen. Right? So there's all of this awful, untrue stuff around male victimization that we have to kind of shove out the way so we can make room to really talk about it and to really understand that, many individuals who are victimized as males and who do not get treatment, that trauma shows up in other ways, oftentimes in ways that we criminalize. And so just thinking about if we address male victimization earlier on, maybe we won't have to criminalize it later on. And every time a young man acts out, we need to consider, just like we do for any other child, where that's coming from. Right? And not just continue to kind of put it in the box. Well, that's just male aggression. That's just male aggression to the point where then they're being criminalized because that aggression has went overboard because it wasn't just male aggression. Because anyone can have aggression. That has experienced abuse, and that's one of the ways that they process it and that they respond to it, not just males, right? But oftentimes we kind of put these boxes around people, especially men, and it doesn't allow them to be vulnerable when it comes to things like abuse. Oftentimes we ourselves, by the way, that we expect men to be in our society. Like, for instance, I know I used to have a thing, if a man cried, I'd be like, you better not let more than 3 tears drop. Like, I'm the one that should be crying as a woman. That was such a messed up way to think. Men have emotions too. Men should be able to cry too. If they don't cry, what are they going to do? You got to get them feelings out some way. So it'd be some other way. It may not be as healthy as crying. So just, making room to understand that men are human beings just like women and not putting this, responsibility on them to never have anything wrong with them. And if it's something wrong with them, then it's like it's their fault. So I want to share a poem with you that we've been sharing, and it's so exciting because I've been sharing this poem in trainings for, how long have we been using it, Nicole? For about a year now?
Maybe about a year.
And the author contacted me. It was so cool. His name is John King. He contacted me and told me that he had been contacted by a friend that had been told that I was reading his poem in a training, and so he was reaching out to say how cool that was and whatnot. And he actually is involved now in a documentary or a movie that they're creating around sex trafficking and boys. And so he sent me the 5-minute trailer for Nicole and I to watch. We'll probably incorporate it into some trainings after we watch it if it's appropriate. But his website is drjohnaking.com, just in case you want to know. drjohnaking.com, and the poem that I'm going to read comes from his website. I was just so excited to get to have him reach out to me. Like, a lot of the videos and stuff and the poems that we read and videos we watch, I know the individuals personally, and so that's why I'm able to, kind of really take it on and bring it to you so meaningfully. So this will be my first time reading John's poems since he reached out via videos. That's exciting. So the name of his poem is Do You See Him? The moon is black and the ground is cold. She wants to get out of town. He wants to get laid. Do you see him? He is too. He is her gorgeous boy. Blonde hair, brown eyes, Giggling, standing, falling, never giving in. Do you see him? He is 4. He is a playful boy. He is playing a game. Daddy likes to watch too. They put food in mommy's vagina, and he has to get it out with his tongue. Do you see him? He is 5. He is a naughty boy. They are putting his little green soldiers in and out of his bottom really hard and fast to teach him to put his toys away. Do you see him? He is 7. He is a lying boy. He is hiding in the bushes next door. That is just not true. No mother would do something like that to her son, they tell him as they drag him home. Do you see him? He is 9. He is a good boy. He crawls under their dresses and makes her friends tingle, just like you do for mommy. Sometimes they even take pictures. Do you see him? He is 11. He is a naked boy. Daddy watches him as the other men laugh at his hairless body. They take turns pulling his dick to make it grow. The pliers hurt the most. Do you see him? He is 13. He is a lonely boy. All Scouts leaders, let me hold it for you. That's how we become friends. Do you see him? He is 45. He is a screaming man, curled in a ball, sobbing, body shudders, with the memories that are shattering his soul and breaking his mind. Do you see him? He is 50, a broken man, nurses a bottle and sucking a barrel. Do you see him? He is 53. He is a relentless man. His ass will always bleed, and his eyes will never dry. Do you see him? He is a survivor too.